Let's talk for a minute about a Mario character that some of us may love, others may not, that's fine. But this character is someone that recently has really grown on me, and that is Princess Peach. And I never really liked Peach growing up, really. Like, you might have always, she may have been like your go-to character for like all the Smash Brother games. You might have pictures of her up in your room, I don't know. But after seeing the Mario movie that came out in 2023 and seeing such a badass that Peach actually was, the way she ran that obstacle course and just the way that she took charge through the whole movie, she is awesome. And I want to talk about the game that Nintendo recently released about her, which was Princess Peach Showtime. The start of this game was actually amazing. I didn't think the graphics to this would be as good as they actually were, but they were really good. It starts off with Princess Peach walking around the Mushroom Kingdom with her umbrella, just humming to herself, and then these toads come up. They show her that they have an invitation to go to this play theater somewhere out in Mario Land, and they look at the invitations, what plays are going on, and then it does this cool transition thing from looking at the invitation to actually like heading to the theater where the plays are. It's a cool graphic transition, which I thought was actually really appreciative. The game at first kind of has a Luigi's Mansion feel to it, especially 3, how as Luigi's going around the mansion in Luigi's Mansion 3, he can talk to all these like workers and stuff. Peach can do the same. Like, as the Toads are getting the tickets to these plays, Peach is walking through the theater talking to these little people called Feats that are employees that have these dreams of becoming actors themselves. So that part's kind of cool. And then it takes a dark turn to it where the villain of the theater shows up. Her name is Grape. Weirdest name for a villain ever, but it's cool that this game actually gives Peach her own villain. And she's like a sorcerer, which is really cool, so it's like someone that Peach is gonna fight instead of just being kidnapped by Bowser like usual. But it's cool because after Peach is trapped in the theater, the title of the game appears, and it does the Luigi's Mansion 3 side swipe where it goes all like happy, golden, pretty looking to this dark, tense feeling to it, which is awesome. I love the transition they did in Luigi's Mansion 3 for that, and I loved it in this game. I thought it was really cool. So now that Peach is trapped in the theater, as she's exploring it, she runs into this one other character, which is your aide through the game. Her name is Stella, and she's just a little sparkle sprite. And the two of you, like, you go all through all these stage plays that have been ruined by Grape's Sour Patch Gang, which are just the minions of Grape, and you're using the power of Sparkle, which is Stella's power that she uses with Peach, and she helps all these actor thieves on the stage with all their problems. But what's really cool, as you go on through these different plays, as you go on through floors of the mansion, going through these different plays, there are different forms that Peach can take on. I mean, the first form that she takes on is a sword fighter, which is probably one of my favorite ones. Like, Castle of Thorns is the very first play that Peach does as a sword fighter, and it's really fun. Like, I like that it's a side-scroller, but you can also explore this stage deeper in. Like, it's not a full side-scroller, you can kind of go 3D-ish as well, and you're fixing different problems throughout the stage. Like, if plants aren't in full bloom, you can use Sparkle to bloom them up, but as a sword fighter you can slash up these villains these people on grapes, and the combat as a sword fighter is awesome. Like, if you time the combat's great, Peach will do this, like, slow motion jumping, where it kind of like, the camera kind of slowly follows her, leaving an after image behind her in her fights. It's awesome. Plus, the final villain in Castle of Thorns, it's completely taken from Legend of Zelda. I mean, it's, Deku, basically Deku Baba, that's the final boss of that stage, but it's still really fun to fight. The sword fighting Peach is definitely one of my favorites. Like every Mario game I've played, there are parts to it that I don't like. With this Princess Peach Showtime game, there's characters that I don't like. I mean, she can be a mermaid, she can be a superhero, she can be, like I said, a sword fighter. She can be anything, basically. But there's one where she becomes a baker? They call her like a patissiere or whatever, fancy name for a baker. But the levels in it, I feel, definitely belong more in a Mario Party game, cause, they just are boring, honestly. Like, it's just Peach baking cookies and making cakes, going against a timer. Like, it's just, it definitely feels like they weren't, like, thinking too out of the box with a baking Peach. I think it'd be cool if they could have been like, Peach could, like, throw eggs as weapons or use her whisk as, like, another blade. But to just, like, bake cakes and stuff, I thought was kind of boring. Baking Peach was definitely not my favorite. And it doesn't help that as you get further in the game, there are 2 parts to each character that Peach takes control of. And the second one is, like, a Halloween theme where you bake, like, the main boss of it. You go on a cook-off against them, baking a giant cake. And it doesn't help that to get to that, you're on a timer, so you don't get overrun by other thieves that have been taking control of. But, yeah, I've hated too much on Baking Peach. Just, she's not my favorite. Cowboy Peach is awesome. I mean, there's, she uses her lasso as her weapon, and there's like this fun little mini game you can play where you go into this saloon, and you're fighting Grape's minions, but you're also using this, lasso to rope up these barrels that these thieves are trapped in. So you're freeing the thieves by lassoing the barrels and destroying them. And there's this part where you ride on the back of this horse and you're just roping up these other members of Grape's gang, just trying to catch up with them. It's fun. Like, Cowboy Peach is a fun character to play with. She was one of my favorites. And there's a part, the second story of Cowboy Peach, is that you're on a runaway train. Like, you're trying to stop the train, then you get on it, and then you're, just fighting all these members of the Grape's gang. But it's one of those funnest levels I played of a Mario game. I love that level. Cowboy Peach is a fun Peach to play as. Ninja Peach was probably my funnest to play as, though. I mean, it is super cool. As you go on through the stage levels, there's this one point where you kind of have to sneak around these guards that are using these flashlights. Kind of like Legend of Zelda, when Link is sneaking into Hyrule Castle to get to Princess Zelda. You know, you have to go through those obstacles without being caught. Or like Majora's Mask, when you gotta, when you're trying to get to the monkey in the Deku Palace, you gotta evade those Dekus, avoiding their lights at night. It's like that. But I love it because you can, once you move Peach against a wall or bushes or whatever, she can use this cover to make herself camouflage against the wall or whatever. And when she can get behind a guard, it'll do like this slow motion slash where Peach will use these kunai to kill these guards. It is awesome. It's really fun. Plus, if she gets caught, she uses like a bamboo figure of herself and she'll appear somewhere else as a retry. I loved it. This game was really fun. The Kung Fu Peach is pretty fun too, but in my opinion, I gotta go with Ninja Peach being better. But with Kung Fu Peach, it is pretty fun. Like, it's more graceful. Like, there's parts where you gotta, like, take out the great minions by being graceful, jumping from pole to pole while taking them out, and hopefully not trying to get hit. If you get hit, you fall off and lose a heart. But the final end of that level, the boss of it, is really fun. Because just the way Peach takes them out is that they're like using like these karate chops, kicks, whatever, and Peach just kicks the guy's ass and sends him flying in the final battle against him. It is awesome. I love the Kung Fu Peach. Both, I would say Ninja Peach and Kung Fu Peach are my two favorite Peaches to play as. For sure, hands down, I gotta go with those two. By about the third floor, you get some really cool characters. Like, there's one where Princess Peach plays this masked thief, which gives me big Persona 5 vibes to it. I mean, it's awesome. There's this part where you're going through the city, you use a grappling hook, and you're going along ledges that collapse behind you. It's ways to get around town. There's parts where you hack into factories. It is awesome, where you disable these security guards so you can solve these other puzzles that are inside of the factory. That part was really cool. There's like a part where the factory is self-destructing, so you have to get out of there really fast. And there's this part where Peach escapes to the roof. She does like this Batman escape through the window, and then you escape with this paraglider going out from the city. It is an awesome way to end the level. Masked Thief is probably one of the funnest ones. Up there with Ninja Peach and Kung Fu Peach, for sure. Masked Peach Thief probably has the coolest second act. It's about trying to get this golden statue back for the thieves. So you find a way onto this blimp, you hack your way inside of it, but the way you get on it is so cool. Like, you're just using your grapple hook, and you swing from hook to hook, jumping on plane to plane, until you eventually get onto the blimp. Then you hack your way into it, and after doing a bunch of more hacks and be able to get this statue out of the blimp is self-destructing. And so there's this awesome thing where Peach does this escape, where she uses these grapple hooks that shoots her along the way as the different hallway closes in behind her. And at the end of the level, we get this awesome slow motion scene where Peach gives a little laugh as she escapes the blimp on her hang glider. It is awesome. This game really shows off Peach's personality, and I love it about this. The last two Peaches I want to talk about are the Mermaid Peach. That one's okay. I mean, she's a hot mermaid. But it's just using her voice to go through the ocean and draw fish to her. And she'll open clams and solve these different puzzles. But at the end there's like this concert thing, which honestly the whole thing gave me like Little Mermaid vibes. Under the Sea. So the entire concert thing, I was just thinking of Under the Sea the whole time. And then we got Detective Peach. That one's okay. I mean, it's like being Sherlock Holmes. You're just going around museums and basically old England and trying to find clues to solve stuff. Though the second act is actually pretty cool, because Grape's minions have this bomb that you're trying to find in this clock tower, and it's cool once you finally find the bomb, because you got this little clip show of Peach and her assistant slowly, picture by picture, going to throw the bomb out of the window into the river below, which I thought was kind of fun. So Detective Peach, kind of okay, but yeah, it's just fine. As you complete each floor of the theater, like each theater door is connected by a thread to a symbol in the floor, and the floor becomes a door. And once you go into that door, you have your own like little trial before you get to the boss of the floor. And each boss has been interesting. Like the first boss is a giant disco bird that lays these disco balls that you gotta shoot up to it to actually like attack it. But it'll like flip the floor upside down. So like the controls are reversed, so you gotta deal with that. It's a fun level. And then you got the second boss, which is a giant robotic snake, which wasn't my favorite. But the way it was is that you're just working your way around this factory trying to get to these certain areas to be able to disable it and attack it. But it's showing the spotlight around, and if you get caught, it kind of reverses time and you lose a heart. That part kind of reminded me of Arkham Asylum with Scarecrow, when Scarecrow's giant and you're Batman trying to get to the spotlight. But it was cool. The third villain's like a Cheshire Cat, basically, but mechanical. He wasn't my favorite villain. It was just like a whole bomb thing, hands, him going invisible kind of thing. It wasn't my favorite boss, but the whole concept of bosses on each floor of this castle, like it did with Mario 64, I thought it was cool. The basement of the theater is honestly kind of freaky. Like, when you first go in, like, there's all these doors just covered in purple haze. But you find out once you complete the second play as each character, there's like this little symbol that you can get that you go to the theater. The picture of who you're playing as is on the door. Once you open the door, you save that character, and like, you're slowly reverting the theater back to how it was. You're freeing the thieves from being imprisoned by Grape, which is really cool. I like how it takes a darkness entrance to it, and you're eventually just like reverting it back to a kind of bright place the way it was at the beginning of the game. It's cool. Like, Luigi's Mansion did the same thing. Like, not in the first one, but in the third one for sure. And I enjoyed it. I thought that was cool. So, yeah. For reviews, this game got a 7 out of 10, which I think it deserves at least an 8.5 out of 10. There are definitely slow parts of the game, but every game has their issues. Anyway, this game was amazing. I love that Peach finally has a villain that she's just not kidnapped by. Rather, it's a villain that she's going head-to-head against. It's awesome. I loved it. And yeah, if you love Mario games, if you love Princess Peach, if you love adventure games, role-playing games, definitely check out Princess Peach Showtime, because it is 100% a joy to play. Anyway guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please give a thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Also, I really hope that skins for all these Peaches like get added to Peach in Ultimate. That would be really cool. That'd be expensive on the eShop, I think. But it would be really cool to have. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time.